Hi guys, Coach Sarah here, and today I want to chat with you a little bit about some of the key training principles that are to be applied and followed in a training program that is results based. So if you don't want results, then you don't have to watch the rest of this video. You can go back to whatever it is you're doing. But for the rest of us that actually want to have some results, be it improved performance, improved health, or decreased risk of injury, then this chat is for you. So training principles are guidelines to follow. We won't call them rules because there is some flexibility in all things, but they are key guidelines to incorporate and apply to a training program with the goal of getting stronger, faster, more endurance. So the goal of improving performance. And the first one I want to chat about is the overload principle. And there's quite a few principles. I'm just going to touch on a few today. So training and overload principle. The body needs a bout of stress, a dose of stress, in order for it to reorganize, rearrange, rebuild, adapt, and grow stronger. And that level of stress applied to the body has to be greater than what the body is already adapted for, what it's already used to. It has to be a little bit more so that the body goes, oh, I need to rebuild the systems to be able to handle the stress of this load because it's more than I'm used to managing. Okay, so a little bit of a dose and an added stress on a regular basis will stimulate your body to heal and adapt and grow stronger. It's phenomenal, and we see it in all the systems of the body. You see it when you go to the gym. You start lifting weights. You can lift more weights, or you're doing your hill repeats. You start with one hill. That gets easy. You adapt and you can do more and more. And that's how we plan it into a training program. If we give the body too much stress all at once, then the systems are overwhelmed. So it's too much. The stress is beyond that which the body is capable of adapting to. Then the body will break in some way or another. The systems will not have a chance to rebuild, adapt, and grow stronger because the stimulus was too great and the overload was too great. So that's why we're always encouraging a safe guideline to start with for progressing your own program is the 10% more per week concept. It's a really safe, conservative number. A lot of us can handle more than that, but some people can't. And so it keeps us out of trouble if we're working on progressing our own program. Rather than, going from 0 to 100, you add 10% to what you did the week before. Okay, so when it comes to running, that could be minutes. So how many minutes are you running in the week? Then you add 10 or a little bit more per week. It could be kilometers. If you're in the gym, what we do is we try to increase the repetitions. Once you can do a set number of reps, it's shown that your body has adapted. Now you've earned the right, so to speak, to put the weight up to the next level. Then you go back down to the starting level of reps. So you start at 10 with a 20 pounder. As soon as you get to 15, okay, I've earned the right to put the weight up. You're up to 25. You're back to 10 reps. Okay, so this is how we incorporate overload into the training program. So too much and the body will not be able to handle the load, and there's a risk of injury, illness, or staleness. There's just no adaptation. You don't see an improvement. But not enough stress is another problem. Not enough stress, and the body will not be stimulated to grow stronger. Okay, so too much rest and not enough stress. So you need to find that right balance, and we'll talk a little bit more about that with the next two key training principles. So the second one is the rest and recovery principle. And you've heard me say it before, stress plus rest equals growth or an adaptation, okay? And we grow stronger. We need the stimulus, we need the stress, but stress does not make us stronger. Stress merely breaks down the body. And it's through rest and recovery that the body responds and brings out the army and the construction materials and rebuilds the body to get stronger. Okay, so you need both. And the key is figuring out what that balance is for you. And the body has an amazing capacity to adapt. It's not this perfect only one way to do it. There is a window, a range, but it's always changing. That's the exciting part, is we cannot just continue to plow through the same stress or training and rest days in our program and expect to get the same outcome, get the same growth throughout our lives. It's always changing, and there's so many factors that will affect this stress plus rest balance. How much stress you're getting in life is not just your workouts, okay? And we've talked about that, in relation to life stress. Any change, good or bad, is considered stress. So family, career, even seasons. There's many different things that can add to that bucket of stress, so to speak. And if it's too much and overflowing and the recovery or the rest isn't balancing out that equation, that's when we risk getting injured, staleness, overtraining, illness, etc. So how much rest is enough? Well, that depends. We want to incorporate rest on a seasonal basis. So having a period in the year where there's not as much structured or high intensity training to allow the body to adapt from a full season of training. We incorporate it on a monthly basis. So when you're following a training program from myself, a periodized professional training program, there are going to be peaks and valleys in the mesocycles, the months of the training plan. You'll be seeing rest incorporated every 3-4 weeks, depending on you and depending on the program. That is a chance, preventative. It's a chance for your body to catch up, recover, and actually grow stronger. Without those little recovery weeks in your program, you're just breaking the body down, and that fitness and that strength can't shine through. Okay, and then in a weekly basis, we want to incorporate rest and recovery throughout the week. So alternating hard, easy days. Resistance training and high intensity workouts should have 48 hours between them, because the body is breaking down with these harder workouts, and it needs that time in order to rebuild the systems, resynthesize proteins, rebuild your tissues. On a daily basis, incorporating rest and recovery. So are you doing self-massage? Are you rolling the tissues? Are you doing active recovery? That is a cool down after your workouts. If you're missing that cool down, you are missing out on starting to stimulate the body's recovery process. Are you consuming the right nutrients pre and post workout to begin providing the materials, the building blocks to enable that protein synthesis? Are you getting enough sleep? This is huge. It's when we sleep and we rest, and sleep is the big chunk of rest in our lives, that our bodies rebuild and adapt. Start with sleep. If you are starting to be concerned about your body's resilience, ability to adapt, excessive fatigue, illness, little niggles, stress, focus on sleep first. So sleep, stress, and nutrition are the keys to keeping that body ticking along. And I think that was all of it for we were talking about the day-to-day recovery processes. And then of course you can also have incorporate passive therapies if you work with practitioners, like massage, acupuncture, physio, chiro, anything to facilitate recovery increase circulation in the body. And there's a ton of great things you can do on your own as well. Okay, hot and cold contrasts, doing recovery walks to get circulation going, saunas. So there's lots of great strategies out there. And then the final principle I wanted to touch on, it does relate to the other two, and that is the overtraining principle. So overtraining syndrome is not just like feeling tired after a workout or even a few days or a week. An overtraining syndrome is really a metabolic disruption where all of the body's systems, physiological systems, are affected and they are compromised. And it doesn't happen overnight. This shutdown occurs, there's a tipping point where the body, its ability to adapt and respond is no longer able to keep up with the stress that it's being placed under. And this is over a period of time. So it's a chronic condition. But there are signs earlier on, which we often call signs of overreaching, that are big opportunities and your body basically speaking to you in its language, telling you what you need to do in order to facilitate adaptation and recovery. And so these signs that our body is giving us that the stress rest balance is not in your favor are our opportunity to respond. We try often to fit in these little spreadsheets, the rows and columns of a training program, but they're merely a guideline. Our body is always the head coach. Okay, and our body tells us through signs and signals and symptoms when rest is going to be the preferred training method, because rest and recovery is training. It is critical to understand and accept that concept that stress is only one form of the stress rest equation. You need both to get stronger. So what are the signs? They're wide and varied. Paying attention to your body and knowing yourself and knowing when things are changing is the key. Keeping a journal, tracking a few key metrics can go a long way in keeping objective, to be able to say, hey, because the ego and the mind wants you to keep going and stick to the plan. But if you have objective data, you can say, hey, my body is speaking to me through these signs and symptoms. Recovery is the training I need. A key one you can start doing today is starting to record your morning resting heart rate. If you have a device you can use in the night, you can get your lowest, heart rate in the night. But otherwise, just take it in the morning with your watch or by counting your pulse. And what should happen as we get stronger and we're adapting and get more fit is that resting heart rate should decrease slightly. But a sign that that potentially that the body is under stress due to overreaching is an elevated heart rate. So check the heart rate in the mornings. Do it for a month. If you have a baseline, you do it once a month and you know your norm, you can check it if your kind of spidey sense is wondering where you're at. It can also alert you of, the body fighting infection or illness. It can definitely show that the body is under stress in some way. And that's the key, is identifying when the body's got too much stress and needs more rest. Other signs are irritability, excessive fatigue. So not just tired after one workout, but day after day. By the end of the week, you're still not feeling recovered from your workouts, or things that are normally easy, like even going up a flight of stairs, can be tired. Now keep in mind, low iron is often, especially for women, female athletes, a culprit in that case. So please make sure you're getting your iron checked annually if you're a female athlete. And speak with your doctor about ferritin levels, making sure that you are in the optimal levels. And apathy is one, just not really feeling it, where you normally love your training and it brings you so much joy. If it's not bringing you that joy, then that's a sign that your body needs more rest rather than more stress. Aches and pains that aren't normally there, things that linger, soreness, frequent sickness, always feeling like you're catching all the colds or you might get sick, your sleep being affected, sleep feeling like you need to sleep a ton and not feeling like you're rested or not sleeping well at all, your your hunger changing, so all of a sudden you're not hungry at all, or you're really hungry, significant sudden changes in weight. So you know when your body is calling for rest. I know that you know this. We need to acknowledge that we have the wisdom, we have the language, we can speak the language body if we take our fingers out of our ears, really, if we listen and if we become present. Oftentimes we're so busy in our lives that we're just plowing through our workouts like robots, and that is when these signs are missed. So tune in, be mindful, feel your body in motion, pay attention to the signs, journal to keep some objective data, okay? And you know what to do when the head coach, and that's not me, it's your body, says in its language that recovery and rest is the training that you need. So then you swap out those harder workouts, you swap out as many of those stress-based sessions and replace them with sessions that facilitate recovery. Okay, guys, I hope that helps you. A few key training principles. They're all related. They all make a huge difference in your performance and, most importantly, in your longevity in the activities that you enjoy. So I hope you enjoy some of the science and have fun. Let me know if you need any help applying those to your own training